Hey, I'm Rose, and if you've ever wondered why you keep attracting the same kind of love no matter how much you've tried to meet Mr. Right, this one's for you. This is part of my series called A Soft Rebellion, where we unpack the hidden patterns that shape who we choose and how we love. You don't need to watch the whole series to get this one, but if it resonates, you'll definitely want to keep going. Last week we learned some definitions. A persona is like the showroom that you've curated from every win, lesson, and scar. Only the parts you want people to see. The shadow is a closet full of the experiences, lessons, and trauma, the ELT, that no one should know about because it doesn't fit with what you want people to think about you. The ego is the guard who controls the door between your perfect display room and your shameful closet. It chooses what needs to be hidden and what should be put on full display. Today we're going to see how that trio, the persona, the shadow, and the ego, can drive your love life straight off a cliff. Now keep in mind that no two women go through the same ELT, so everyone is going to construct their psyches differently. The psyche is the shadow, persona, and ego all together. So the following is just an extreme example that you may recognize some part of. Let's start with childhood. When you're little, you're a clean slate. No shadows, no persona, no ego. But it doesn't take long to start receiving subliminal feedback from others. You might get called a sweet, pretty girl, but probably not tough or smart very often. You're a little mama, you're a princess, or a diva with an attitude. You're gonna make someone a good wife someday. But think, have you ever heard anyone tell a little boy he's gonna make someone a good husband one day? When you got mad, you might notice it's different from when a boy did. They chuckle. He doesn't take no for an answer. Just look how mad he is. I remember getting told a bird would land on my lip if I pouted any bigger. Girls were generally taught to be pleasant, quiet, and aware of others' emotions, while boys usually weren't. We would comfort baby brothers and sisters, and boys from our generation didn't usually comfort their friends when they were crying, but girls did. We saw our friends smile and cheer up because we cared about them. We were encouraged to behave in a certain way, taking good care of your toy babies, using a toy vacuum to clean the house, and playing with pretend makeup. Meanwhile, the boys were outside setting things on fire and nobody blinked. Boys weren't very sensitive or nice to you or your friends. They would tease and pull hair and call names, and they weren't very considerate like girls were. If one liked you, he'd probably tease or hurt you. It's something even the grown-ups warned you about. Now for adolescence. Moving along, you can think about TV shows for your age. They go from being about princesses and families, and then they turn into being about girls impressing boys with makeup and hair and clothes and self-sacrifice. With this info, your ego might make subconscious decisions to store away anything unfeminine in the shadow and present only the girly girl aspects in the persona. The best ending in a girl's movie is living happily ever after with the prince who rescued you and made your eyes all starry, but it all seems fun to you. You want to do what girls do. It seems romantic and sweet, and it seems to feel good when you see it on TV. But things start to get a little worrisome as your personal experiences start to pile up because boys don't act like princes. And then there are a lot of mixed messages from adults during this time. Purity is your responsibility, so you have to be modest. So you have to display purity as in the persona. And then you don't want to cause boys to lust after you, so you have to dress the right way, so you display modesty in the persona. But other girls don't dress modestly, and they're the ones that get attention from the boys, so that's weird. Now, masturbation is also weird, so don't do that. You gotta put that in the shadow. But the hormones are killing you, so what's up with that? And then sex is bad, so you definitely want to put that in the shadow, but it seems to be all boys want, so what are you supposed to do now? None of it makes sense. The ego works really hard to try to sort these messages out, but as you can see, it's hard to tell where things go. Quick side note, if you're hearing your own life in this and you want to talk about it with someone who completely gets it, check the description for my U-Vent iCoach voice note option. It's private, fast, and judgment-free. Okay, back to the story. Next, we have young adulthood. Textationships, situationships, singles meetups, ladies' nights, blind dates with friends. And when you think you found Prince Charming, it ends in heartbreak a few times. Maybe you're too emotional, so let's throw being too emotional into the shadow. Or you weren't sexy enough and he cheated on you, so let's add being sexy into the persona. Perhaps you were too opinionated or too busy for him. Those things gotta go into the shadow. Or he started to be mean and uncaring. That was probably your fault. Something in the shadow escaping, maybe? Maybe you wouldn't put out and he talked shit about you. So let's add putting out sooner into the persona. Or maybe you did put out and he talked shit about you. So flip that and putting out too soon into the shadow, actually. God forbid you get pregnant, which was definitely in the shadow. Now what? You gotta hide it, right? Because you don't want anyone to know. Can't tell your mom since she's anti-abortion, but she would also be mad about you being pregnant. People would be so disappointed in you, but no one would be disappointed in him, would they? Fast forward a bit, adopt a cat, take some time off. By now you've got a ton hidden in your shadow, and your persona is starting to firm up. Even though it's hard to know the right way to be, you eventually settle on a version that you've taken from social media, TV, your peers, and your experiences. But all that stuff in the shadow is hard to keep crammed in there because that's the natural, real you. You like being opinionated, you like being silly, and you don't want to jump into bed with guys, but you want to make guys happy because that's how you get them and keep them. Every so often you'll get triggered. You won't be able to hide something in your shadow. Maybe you become emotional when a boyfriend ghosts you. You care too much about him. You didn't expect it and you want him back. But he tells you you're crazy, and your friends tell you that you can't let him know how much you're bothered by this, so you just shut up and you go through the pain alone, and you put being too crazy into the shadow. And you've built a wall now because you can't trust people anymore. Although your goal is still to find your Prince Charming, he's got to be out there, but you're just not as excited about it anymore, or even sure that it'll happen. Let's move on to adulthood, unpause things, get on dating apps. You try really hard to be wifey material now, so when you meet a good man, you don't tell him about your dreams and desires, you just get excited about his instead. You make sure he's happy, and you tell him how much you'd love to cook and clean, and you can't wait to take care of babies, because if he's happy and thinks you're a trophy wife, he'll treat you right, and maybe even marry you. You don't want him to have to lift a finger unless he wants to. You just want to be loved because you've earned that place in someone's life. You deserve it. It works, and you finally get married. You finally have kids. You end up doing all the tasks required so that he doesn't feel any of the burden. After all, this is what you wanted. It's perfect for a while, but then he starts to grow distant. He says you've changed, you're tired, you're no fun. You let yourself go. You don't turn him on anymore. So you gather yourself and you try even harder to get some love in return for all this effort you're putting in. And then at the same time, your shadow is pounding at the closet door saying, hello, do you remember that chocolate you used to love? I bet it would really help right now, along with some Taco Bell, a drink, and a smutty book. You're getting triggered because hiding the real you is not working out very well. You're feeling split in two. It's hard to act out of the persona all the time when you're tired of trying. There's nothing wrong with you. You were just never given much of a choice. You were put on a societal assembly line. You weren't told you don't have to have kids or don't have to be married. You weren't told that being a stay-at-home mom isn't for everyone. You were told what you wanted since childhood. But we're all individuals with our own thoughts and opinions. Yours were hidden in your shadow, though. For so long you've been told who you should be, what you should want, and how you should behave to keep love. But has any of it actually worked, I wonder? Has it brought you the love, the respect, and the happiness that you deserve? Or has it left you exhausted, anxious, unseen, feeling alone, and questioning your worth? It might work for some. Or for some, they might not dig deep and just decide to stay surface level happy. Next week, we're going to talk about the quiet inherited beliefs about what women should be and should do. The assembly line that I mentioned. Most of us never questioned it, but lately we've been waking up. But really quickly, just in case you're worried, I'm not here to make you hate men. I don't hate men. You don't have to stop dating, dump your man, or get a divorce. I'm not here to tell you to move into the woods with a bunch of cats and crystals, although it's okay if that's the eventual backup plan. And I'm definitely not going to tell you there's something wrong with you. There's not. There never was. There's nothing more you have to do. What I am here to do is help you see why you keep ending up exhausted, disappointed, feeling lonely in your relationships, or questioning your own worth in some sort of math equation to earn love, even when you're trying your absolute hardest. Because here's the deal. There are good men out there. Men who were raised by people who knew how to love. Men who grew up and chose to go to therapy and learn to love themselves because they wanted to be better. Men who actually know what it means to be in a relationship. But you're never going to find them if you're too busy trying to twist yourself into a pretzel for someone who doesn't even know what love is. You're not too much. You're just ready for better. Now, if you've been replaying your own highlights and lowlights in your head, drop down to the description and see the playlist for the full series so far and the link to my private voice note coaching. You vent and I coach, and you finally get to breathe. I'll see you in the next video.